That all right?
Lovely. That's fine, thank you.
Are you giving a party, Mr. Calder?
No, I'm just buying some food.
Not a fit for one person.
Well, I expect I'll be eating tomorrow and the next day as well.
Well said. What about yourself, Mrs. Archie? No cooking for you today?
Aye, I suppose I'd better be making my way up the road. No big cars to take me anywhere. And poor Archie can't help. He's run off his feet looking after the German. Well, bye for now, Isabel.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoy your meal, Mr. Calder.
Well, you've got to keep body and soul together.
Oh, aye, it's a struggle sometimes. Still, no use complaining.
And, of course, Scottish winters don't help. So if you put it all together, age, neglect and climate, it can add up to something quite serious.
Oh, dear. When will we know how bad it is?
I can't tell until I've been right over the whole house, roof to basement.
What a shame that I won't be here to hold your torch for you.
If you'll forgive me, Mr. Langman, you hardly seem the type to carry a torch.
Thank you.
My chief concern is what needs doing and how much it will cost.
Well, from what you've told me, Mrs. Cunningham, I'm sure there's several things that'll need doing right away. But as to cost, I really have no idea at the moment.
Well, it has to be done.
Yes, but not at any cost, Elizabeth. We must study Miss Diekman's estimates very carefully, and if they are too high, we shall just have to think again.
But the board never indicated that. I was under the impression that the condition of this house was a priority.
It is.
And I don't understand.
The running costs of Glendarroch House are out of all proportion to the return. One way or the other, this building must become an asset and not a liability. We must examine every possibility.
Such as?
Such as conversion. Miss Diekman, am I not right in thinking that your costings and survey would be quite different if we were to consider conversion as opposed to merely renovation?
Oh, yes. But I'd have to know what you had in mind.
I would like to know that too. It is my home we're talking about, Max.
And I hope it always will be, Elizabeth.
You sat at my table the other evening and were deliberately vague when I brought up the condition of the house. But I think you know exactly what you want to do with it, don't you?
I wouldn't say that. But what I would say...
Excuse me. Yes, Lorna. An urgent call for you, Max.
Oh, then if you will excuse me, I will take it downstairs. Auf Wiedersehen, Miss Diekman.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Mr. Langeman is coming down, Lorna. I'm sorry, Miss Diekman. I'm afraid I do tend to get a bit emotional when people start talking about Glendarroch House as if it were an impersonal heap of bricks and mortar. My family built this house.
I quite understand, Mrs. Cunningham. But you know, being sentimental can also be expensive. It's no use throwing good money after bad. Mr. Langeman's point of view is very sensible. If you don't mind my saying so, perhaps you should listen to him.
Langeman here? Oh, yes. Yes, I thought you might be. Well, but it's true. I see, a question of rights. Yes, I see. Of course. Goodbye. Repercussions from our friend Mr. Maxwell.
Well?
Yes, his editor is not too pleased. Wants to know why Maxwell's work is being suppressed.
Well, I'm not surprised. Maxwell spent a long time up here. Time wasted and no story printed.
But surely you don't think that he has any reason to be annoyed?
Well, I must say I can understand Maxwell and his editor being less than satisfied.
But he's accusing us of interfering with the freedom of the British press.
And that's not what you're doing?
No, I am simply buying time in everybody's interests.
Does that include the people of Glendarroch?
Yes, of course it does. There are quite enough rumors flying about without some wild story appearing in the center spread of the Weekend Review.
Our tenants must be informed about what's going on.
They will be informed. They will know before any of the newspapers.
Good. Now, is there anything you can do to stop this editor causing trouble?
I think so. I think that I can interfere a little more with the freedom of the British press.
I don't think I understand.
Watch me.
No, I think that's everything.
Right. You know, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you're looking an awful lot happier.
I think I'm beginning to turn the corner. I've just done a job for Nurse Grant. She's going to be paid in cash later on. That was the first money I've got since I came here.
Has Maggie Ferguson not paid you yet?
I think she's trying to avoid me. She says she wants to run it for 200 miles.
Well, I wouldn't worry. She will pay eventually. She's not as bad as she seems, you know.
No?
No. Look, it's not my way to owe money or give credit, but you can easily take these messages and pay me tomorrow.
No, it's not my way either. I think we should cover it. I'm not down on my uppers yet, Mrs. Blair. I just had the telephone reconnected.
Oh?
298's the number if you ever need me.
I'll take a note of that.
Oh, by the way, I met your brother-in-law the other night. We had a long chat.
That's your change then, Mr. Calder, if that's everything.
Yes, that's one. Seemed a nice fellow.
Come in. Oh, Lorna, hello.
Sorry to bother you, Mrs. Cunningham, but I really need some signatures.
Oh, yes, of course.
I wasn't sure if Miss Steedman was still here or not.
Oh, she left about an hour ago. It was only a preliminary visit, it seems.
I thought she was very nice.
So did Mr. Langerman.
Really?
She's highly intelligent, capable. She's also very attractive. Just his kind of woman. I found that out the other night.
Well, how?
When Kay Grant came to dinner. She was subjected to the high-powered Langerman charm, but Kay handled the situation beautifully.
And Miss Steedman?
She was impressed. It worries me a little, Lorna. Mr. Langerman suddenly became very much the chairman of the board. Now, whether that was just to impress Miss Steedman, or whether it was to tell me something, I'm really not quite sure.
You know more than most what he's like, Mrs. Cunningham. It was probably...
Elizabeth Cunningham. Max? If I can. In an hour? But why? Max?
I take it you're off to Octan tonight.
I'm off to Glasgow tonight.
Glasgow?
He's picking me up in an hour.
But why is he taking you all the way to Glasgow?
Lorna, I haven't the faintest idea.
Your letter inquiring about the empty cottages on the Ardvane Road. Unfortunately, these are not available for rent at the moment, and there are no other vacant premises on the estate. We are sorry we can't be more helpful. Yours sincerely, etc., etc.
That's fine, yes. Send that off today. That's the one thing about the job that slows me down. It's all this paperwork. I could well do without it.
That's about the 10th inquiry about these cottages.
It's another point I must take up with Mr. Langerman when he comes back.
I wouldn't mind staying in one of them myself.
Are you joking? That road gets far too busy in the summertime. Anyway, I think Mr. Langerman is looking for more affluent tenants.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I help you?
You must be Alan McIntyre, the factor. Jane Steedman, Harrison's Preservations.
So you're the man from Harrison's.
It takes everyone by surprise.
I'm sure it does. It's just I always expect everyone in the building industry to be male.
Well, now you know better. Perhaps equality hasn't reached Glendarroch yet.
No, I think you'd be surprised on that point. You see, there are some very hard-working ladies up here. Aren't there, Lorna?
Yes, Mr. McIntyre, you can say that again.
Now, I believe you want to do a complete survey of the house.
Yes, that's right. I had a brief look round when I was here yesterday, but this time I want to do a more detailed survey.
Fine. Lorna, could you get the master keys for Miss Steedman? Mrs. Cunningham and Mr. Langerman have been called away to Glasgow, I'm afraid.
Oh. Do you have any objections to me going round the house by myself, then?
No, not at all. It might be easier with a guide. Unfortunately, I'm tied up for most of the day. But if there's any difficulty, I'm sure Lorna will help you. Won't you, Lorna?
Yes, of course. Here are the keys.
Thank you.
Hey, why don't you come into my office? I'll see if I can find a plan of the house.
Oh, now, if you have one, that would be a great help.
Might be rather ancient, but it should be on file.
She's back.
Yes, to do a survey of the inside of the house.
No doubt next time she comes she'll be driving her own bulldozer. Maybe I should go round the house with her.
Oh, I think she'll manage on her own. Besides, I've got a list of things that are to be done.
So have I. Mrs. Cunningham left me full instructions, you know.
Oh, did she?
I would think she's going away for a year, the amount she's left me to do. She wants Fiona's room cleaned up and the kitchen washed down.
You want breakfast, Dougal?
No.
But you must eat.
What's the point when I don't feel like eating?
Strength, Dougal. It was a wild out last night, and look how the weather's cleared up now.
Aye.
Alice was a great help last night. She's a good girl.
It's weeks now since Amy... It seems like just the other day that we were laughing and joking about what to call the baby. She always wanted a boy.
I know. Well, now you should be proud of your son.
Proud.
Dougal, you must look to the future. Well, I'll have to get this place cleared up. Nurse is coming in to look at the baby this morning. Maybe you should be here when she comes.
Aye, maybe.
Donald's still sleeping. I didn't wake him. It'll give us a chance to get on.
You look tired, Alice. I heard you up during the night for the baby.
Oh, I'm fine. When I do sleep, I sleep well. Is Dougal up?
Oh, he's gone out. And he didn't eat again this morning.
Oh, Mrs. Loughlin, what are we going to do?
That I don't know.
So I just gave him the money, Isabel. I must admit he's done a grand job in it. It sounds better than it did when I first got it.
And so when does the transport inspector come?
Next week.
So do you think it'll pass?
Well, if it doesn't, Ken Calder will have some explaining to do. When I told him to put those new tyres on, he said it needed. But it's costing me a fortune, Isabel.
Well, it'd cost you a lot more if you went anywhere else.
I suppose so. Is Jimmy away with him to Glasgow?
Aye, they're away in the van. Ken's got some tools and belongings in store down there, you know.
And they're using your van?
Well, Jimmy's picking up an order from the cash and carry. Look, they're sharing the expenses of the trip and they're good company for each other.
Good company? An alcoholic?
Oh, Maggie, why must you always... Hello, David.
Hello, Isabel. Miss Ferguson.
Hello?
I just dropped in to see if there's any mail for me.
No, none, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Well, I better be moving too. And Isabel, don't let David Blair upset you.
Aye, but he does upset me, Maggie.
Oh, just ignore him. He'll go away.
Bye-bye.
Miss Ferguson, perhaps you can help me.
You want me to help Brian Blair?
Can you remember the night the girl was murdered?
I'm not likely to forget it. She came here in my bus.
Do you remember where she got on?
The Ochtarn Hotel. She was a waitress there.
She didn't say anything to you, did she? You know, where exactly she was going or who she was meeting?
Look, I told everything to the police a long time ago.
Please. Maybe there was something you forgot.
All I know is she asked me, when was the last run back to Ochtarn? Well, I was finished for the night. I told her I wasn't going back. Anyway, as it turned out, she didn't need a return ticket, did she, Mr. Blair?
There's nothing wrong with him. He's a lovely wee boy.
You think he's doing fine, nurse?
Oh, Alice, you've done a grand job.
I'm doing my best.
Under the circumstances, you're doing better than your best, and you know it.
Well.
How is he, anyway?
Dougal? Oh, about the same. A bit more talkative. By that I mean we almost had a conversation.
He'll have to pull himself out of it. Nobody else can.
It's very hard for him.
It's very hard for you.
Well, at least he's not ignoring me anymore. Well, you know what it was like when I first came. I don't think he resents me being here quite as much.
That is an improvement.
Oh, you're early today, nurse.
Early enough to see you doing far too much.
Oh, I can manage.
But you shouldn't have to. Where's Dougal?
Oh, he's out somewhere.
Well, you do all the work.
We had a late night last night.
Some of the ewes went missing, but we found them, didn't we, Alice?
Yes. We had to bring them off the bed. And some of them will be lambing any day now.
This one arrived several days ago unexpectedly.
I don't believe it. The two of you were out in the pouring rain last night.
Well, someone's got to look after them.
We make a good team, Alice and I.
Oh, Mrs. Lachlan, you're doing Dougal's job for him. It won't do your health any good.
Now, don't worry about me, nurse. I can manage.
You can manage. Alice can manage. The only one who can't manage is Dougal. He's too busy feeling sorry for himself to see what's going on.
We know that. He just needs time.
He's had enough time. You're doing a grand job, but it's not helping Dougal. He's got to get back to work, and someone has got to make him.
Hello.
Oh, goodness me, you give me an awful fright. I get carried away.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to have a quick look round this room.
Well, you just carry on, dear. Of course, that used to be the Laird's favourite room.
Did it?
A man of great taste, Sir Logan Petty. You know, some of the house is exactly as it was. You should have a wee look in the library. It hasn't been changed one bit. A great man for the books was Sir Logan. Mrs. Cunningham's not had it all that easy, though. It's, 4 years now since her divorce. My, how time flies.
Yes, it does.
He was such a nice man, Peter Cunningham. He had class. But she's got the real class, I can tell you.
Must be getting on.
Ah, she's a different breed, is Mrs. Cunningham. Just like Sir Logan. You can tell she's a Petty.
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, thanks, Isabel.
Busy run?
Oh, Mr. Wedderburn and his 2 grandchildren. A dog, that parcel and the magazines. There was 1 or 2 came on earlier, but they didn't come on up here.
Ah, never mind. The tourist season will soon be upon us.
Oh, well, it can't start soon enough for me, Isabel. What with the cost of that service, the new tyres and the price of fuel, I'm losing hand over fist. Hand over fist.
Well, you know, there's none of us having it easy, Maggie. Now, stuff in that freezer's been there for months, and not everything